The regular board meeting for Wednesday, October 15th to order at 6 p.m. How come I'm doing this? Hold on, I'm trying to figure out why I'm making so much noise.
You got it right. You're good.
I'm good? Okay, maybe this is just too close. Block.
Here.
Fields.
Yeah.
Moore is here. Mordarski. Is absent. Morris.
Here.
Shufelt is excused. Westfall.
Here.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I believe this will go to you, Mr. Morris, tonight.
Okay. Nope. I am the acting secretary for today. Item 3, revisions approval of agenda policy number 0166.
I have a revision
Okay.
to add a very short report from John Ross on smart boards to be purchased.
Okay, and that'll be discussion item number 6 and action item number 8 if we take action.
Thank you.
Is there support?
Support.
Okay. With that, vote a roll call for the approval of the revision. Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Mordarski?
Yes.
Corey,
Yeah.
you didn't ask for a motion in a second.
Oh, my apologies. I thought Kathy and Mark gave us a motion and a support.
Motion, Mark supported it.
Yeah. Okay. I am a yes. Ms. Shufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yeah.
Okay, that carries 6-0. Moving
Okay.
on.
Let
Thank
the record reflect that Mr. Mordarski arrived at 6:01 p.m.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna move on to scheduled reports. Suicide Prevention Coalition.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the time the board has given me to talk a little bit about the coalition, which Taylor is a part of, Taylor Public Schools. My name is Brian Galdas. I'm a former superintendent of schools from South Redford and currently work with GrowthWorks, which is a nonprofit out of Plymouth. And I coordinate the Hope Empowerment Coalition, and that is the name of our organization. So you can see up on the screen that our mission and our vision is up there, but we're really a group of school districts and hospitals that have come together to battle adolescent depression and suicide. So if you look up at the screen, you'll see the school districts that are involved. There's 9 school districts and 2 hospital systems, Trinity Health and Corewell Health. Are both very instrumental in the work that we do. So we also have quite a list of community groups that are also supportive in part of our coalition. Go ahead and change the screen. So just a couple of statistics. I don't want to get us buried in them, but I picked a few that I think are really important for us to remember, really as a society, but certainly as a school district. Suicide for the students that we serve in middle school and in high school is the second leading cause of death. The first leading cause of death would be accidents. And this isn't getting better because not just a couple of years ago, suicide for that age group was the third leading cause of death. It's moved up and not down. And so if we go to the next slide. So this is data that comes from the CDC, and it reflects almost identical to the similar data that the state of Michigan does and we do locally, which is really something that really is kind of jaw-dropping to me. And if you look at nationally, the number of kids who have said, self-reported, that they've been sad or hopeless for a period of 2 weeks over the last 12 months. Significantly sad or significantly hopeless. It's 42% nationally, and it's 40% in Michigan. And again, the local MyFi data that we have mirrors the same information. So if you look, Taylor School District has about 1,400 high schoolers. That's 565 of your students have felt sad or hopeless. Now, these aren't documented. These are not documented cases. It's really extrapolating the 40% to the number of students you have. But there's no reason why you wouldn't do that, because the data is so similar between districts. It crosses socioeconomic standards. It crosses race. It crosses gender. These aren't somebody else's problems. We all own this. Every single community, owns these numbers. And then if we go down to made a plan, how many students have reported about having made a plan in the last 12 months? 17% of Michigan students. That boils down to 246 students in Taylor have made a plan. They felt so hopeless that they've made a plan to take their life. And this is the one that just drives me. This is what keeps me in the business. And that is 9% of our students across Michigan have made an attempt of some kind on their life. So they've got to a place where they've made a choice to do something to take their life. Again, if you extrapolate the numbers, these are not documented cases. This is extrapolated numbers. You're looking at 126 Taylor students that are in the last 12 months. And so that's really what drives us. I mean, those numbers are not acceptable as a society, and we really need to be doing something different. And I will tell you that I've been around school districts now for almost 40 years in terms of my profession. School districts are working their butts off. They really are. Taylor is working hard at addressing this. There's no doubt in my mind. I just think it's too big of a problem to deal with single districts. We really need to work as a coalition. We need to come together. We have people all trying to do the same thing in silos. And our mental health professionals are working their tails off too every single day that are working in the schools. But oftentimes they're doing it alone because of their caseloads and because they might be the only person in the building that does the work that they do. Sometimes, and I think we've gotten away from this for the most part, but in some districts, they're the only person in the whole district who's doing that work. And so I think regional coalitions are so important in order to address these issues. There's another statistic, or I guess you could say it's a trend, but if you look at the numbers of attempted suicides and completed suicides by adolescents, school-age adolescents, they spike during high stress times during a school year, and they go down during vacation time. So the beginning of a school year, exam time, prom time, those times are extremely stressful during the school year. And there is a spike in suicides. We, as superintendents, we really struggled. Obviously, you guys were all there too. We struggled with whether or not we should close schools for COVID. And we had some very serious conversations as superintendents as to how do we move forward. And one of the things we thought was, we can't close schools because of adolescent mental health, and we're going to see a spike in suicides or attempts. And that was one of our strong arguments about not closing schools. What we saw was exactly the opposite. What we saw was when kids went home, the suicides went down. And I'm not blaming schools. I'm part of schools. And I know we're not going to be able to change the importance of GPAs or college entrance exams or any of those kinds of things. Prom, social media, we're not going to be able to do that. But what we can do, I believe, and we must do, is create supports for kids that are in school. So if we know that prom time or exam time is a very stressful time, how can we support those kids during those times? I think that's kind of, some obvious things that we can do that are under our control. And so, those are the numbers that drive us and numbers that we're looking at.
Are you already working with our students in Taylor, or
I'm sorry if I'm ignorant to the whole.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yes, Taylor is part of the coalition. I'll talk about what the coalition is doing and Taylor's part of it. And so then maybe I can answer that question after.
Sure.
Yeah, because they're part of the whole coalition. It's hard for me to do a deep dive into Taylor because I don't know all the details of what Taylor's doing, but I can talk about what we're doing as a coalition, you know, and then we can go from there if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So what are we gonna do about this? How are we gonna make a difference? The first thing we did is we started looking at a common screener. And so a screener is an instrument that a student goes into crisis at school. And so we need to find out what the crisis is all about. And every school district was using a different screener. Emergency rooms were using a different screener. Remember, we have Trinity Health and Corewell Health on our team, and their emergency rooms are represented on our team. And so what we did is we decided, look, we need to come up with a common screener so that if I'm a parent of a student in crisis, or I'm a student in crisis, I'm not having to go over this thing over and over and over. We're all asking the same questions, and we can communicate together using the same language. Student and staff prevention, suicide prevention training, which is QPR, is the program we use. We've now, it says 5,500 up there. We're now over 6,500 adults in all of our coalition districts that we've trained. So bus drivers, superintendents, administrators, teachers, parapros. We've trained them in looking for red flags and what do you do if you see some red flags. Data, we're looking at data, how to best look at data and know the data is what's the data telling us in terms of our interventions. I had a conversation yesterday with some police chiefs and looking at their police runs and measuring that. You know, how many times have you gone to a home and an adolescent was either in some type of a mental health crisis? So we're going to get that data, scrub it down, obviously without names and locations in that, and we'll be looking at things like that. I will tell you anecdotally that to a T, the police chiefs I've talked about have a heavy heart because they've seen increase in, and I haven't talked to the Taylor police chief yet, but have a heavy heart and because the number of runs they're making for adolescent attempts is up and mental health issues. Research and recommendations. So we get together and talk about how do we best bring things into schools, you know, as a whole coalition. And being part of the coalition means that when we agree to interventions, then we, you know, as a coalition district, then you're going to move forward with those things. But we have the best people in Wayne County working on looking at what are the best interventions and sharing programs between school districts, which doesn't happen a lot, unfortunately. But now the coalition is helping us do that. Coalition mutual support. Excuse me, we have really broken down the silos between school districts. So now I have school districts, special ed directors, social workers, counselors who are working across districts, who, when they have a problem in a school, instead of trying to sit in their own little silo in their office, they're picking up the phone and they're calling people that they are in the coalition and they're talking through issues in terms of, have you ever seen this? You know, what have you done here? I've got a number of phone calls. We got this thing going in the district. We've never seen this before. And I'm able to get a couple people, special ed directors mostly, who have gone through this. And by the afternoon, we have a Zoom going, you know, with the special ed directors, trying to help that particular special ed director work through the issues. Go ahead, next slide. So we do a lot of professional development, where as a matter of fact, we have a professional development on election day. That is because all of Wayne County has, kids don't come to school, everyone has to have professional development. Well, school districts, and this was my school district also, we only have a handful of mental health professionals. It's kind of hard to find good quality professional development for a handful of school-based mental health professionals. So now we're doing it as a whole coalition. We'll have probably between 450 and 500 individuals at Thurston High School on that day for a whole day with quality in-servicing and networking. And again, breaking down the silos and getting some quality professional development for those people. And then we run a lot of mini conferences. These are just a couple that we've named up there. You can go ahead to the next slide. supporting students and families in acute crisis. So a student goes into crisis in school, right? What happens? Well, they might have to go home. They might have to go to the emergency room. They might be transported by a police or ambulance. They might go to residential treatment. It might be a combination of all those things and other things too. There are silos even between those levels. And so we have a subcommittee now working, and we have emergency room personnel. We have residential treatment centers sitting at the table. We have schools, we have administrators, we have social workers, and we're starting to break down what that process is. You have to remember, when a student goes into crisis, a whole family goes into crisis. And how do we support that student while they're out, getting the help they need? And then what happens when they come back into school? How are we supporting them? So we're really coming together and going to look for best practices on that. And so that's some exciting work that we're doing. Also, peer-to-peer school culture programs. So we researched some peer-to-peer programs to come into our middle schools and high schools. And we had selected through a process of Hope Squad, Be Nice, and Sources of Strength. So school districts have a choice to pay or not to pay to participate with one of those three programs. And because we were approaching this as a coalition, we represent 65,000 students. It was easy for me to go out and say, hey, schools are struggling right now financial wise. This is so important. And so we were able to get that fully funded for all 19 high schools and 28 middle schools across the coalition for 3 years. So that's going to be fully paid for, by a grant that we have. So that's exciting. That's going on. Also, student voice. We're not going to move that needle off at 10% without getting students involved. We need their voice and we need their leadership. Students listen to students best. Students know what's going on in their schools. They know what's happening with their peers. And so we need student voice. So we're putting together really a coalition of high school students. And our goal will be to have 3 high school students from each high school that will meet every month. And they'll work on interventions that they're going to recommend to schools to look at what makes a difference. And then they'll bring them into the schools. They'll work in partner with our adult coalition group, and there'll be communication in between them. Now, we just got that off the ground at the end of last year in the second semester. So we haven't done a lot of work with that, but we've done some, and it is so amazing to see these kids work. We have on Saturday will be the first meeting of this year. It's going to be held at Plymouth Canton. And to sit and listen to the students, they've established their own leadership structure. They came up with their own mission, their own vision, their own logo, and they did it in such a way that was so cooperation based. I was actually pretty blown away. I sat back and I sometimes think, why can't our adults act like this? Why can't we'd be so much more effective if our adults could move forward in a way like this. So I'm really excited about that work. And next year when I'm here before you, I'm excited to bring you up to speed on that too. Let me go to the next slide. So that's the logo that they came up with. They came up with the name also. That's their name. We as adults kind of were guide on the sides, kind of help them a little bit in terms of getting going. But this is all their work. And then you can see their vision and their mission. We added no words to it. We didn't direct them. We didn't do anything. And, they see themselves as a community that provides the whys and hows to help students feel better and tackle stigma. And the mission is foster a multi-district collaborative effort between students and mental health groups to develop tools and strategies that raise awareness, provide support, increase engagement, to improve mental health and overcome stigma. All their words, all their work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any questions from the board? Comments, questions? None? Well, thank you. We look forward to hearing more.
You are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Secondary grading committee updates, it would be Marlene.
Evening. I think Matt's got my presentation up there. Okay, so today I wanted to update you and also extend an invitation to collaborate on a secondary grading committee. Over the summer, I had the pleasure of working with a number of secondary teachers on some curriculum mapping. And one of the discussions that we had was surrounding grading. So this includes, not just grading practices in the classroom, but in the school, how grades are reported, and just kind of all of those issues around grading. As you can imagine, there's different views. There's pockets of teachers that have, by department or even within some schools that have some very strong practices in place where they're kind of all on a united front. But if you want to go to the first slide here, there's just not consistency across all of the secondary buildings. And so that's really the goal. And talking with the group of teachers that I was working with, it was probably, I don't know, 40 teachers or so, 30 or 40 teachers. And they had a lot of different opinions in that room. And as you can imagine, with something like this, it's really important to get all of the stakeholders' input. When we're making these kinds of decisions, we want to make sure that, we're not just hearing from a loud minority, that we're getting all of the teachers, the administrators, the parents, the students, that we're getting a broad picture of all of these different aspects and how the different stakeholder groups view them and what their feelings are around them, so that we can have some guidance as to where we might need to implement some of our structures. And so this is where Grading RX comes in. This is essentially an extremely small company, if you even want to call it that. It's a couple of researchers really that founded this organization. One of the main researchers has published books around grading and grading policies. And really their main goal is to help school districts do what we're looking to do, to help us not only reform. They give some research-based guidance, but the survey that I'm talking about, they are the ones that help us to implement a comprehensive survey to all of our stakeholders. And so, you have this presentation. If you want to look at a sample report, you're welcome to. This is directly from their website. Essentially, our team at the district is going to meet, and they have kind of like a template survey, but they want to adjust it to meet our needs, like specifically in our district. So they're meeting with our team, and we're going to go over the questions, make sure everything aligns to what we're looking to gather or what makes sense for us before it goes out.
What's the essential question or the question that you're hoping to get an answer for with the survey?
Yeah, so it's going to ask about grade reporting,
Okay.
how clear grades are reported. It also asks about grading policies in terms of, just like not only homework policies, but, there's standards-based grading is very popular, but it's like, do you feel, that the content is reflected in the grade, or that the grades are consistent across buildings or across schools and those types of things?
Yeah, I just question, are we digging up a can of worms by asking those types of questions with parents? I mean, and really, I don't know, as you open up a grading policy to parents and certainly students and
Yeah.
Talk more.
Sure. Well, the purpose of asking parents is really for the report card aspect
Yeah,
of
I can
it,
see that.
like the clarity in that, but that's what we refine when we meet as a group. And so part of coming here today, if you want to go to the next one, is so, we worked in summer. So we're at October and we're meeting this Friday morning at 9:15 on Zoom. So if any of the board members would like to attend, we have a team from Taylor that is meeting with Grading RX on Zoom to just kind of go over some of those things and make sure that we're asking the questions that we want to be asking to each of the stakeholder groups.
I'm a little confused though. How does that fit in with MTSS?
So tier one instruction is for all students. And so the grading practices and policies that we use is what applies to all of our students.
Any questions? Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, discussion items, athletics, improvement contract awards, Saxy for the year or somebody else presenting?
Yep, they're,
Oh, okay,
yep.
okay, thanks, sorry.
I do want to say, just before they come up and present, I did give you guys the updated copy that, they will be talking about tonight, so. You're all ready?
Wanted to give like a brief overview. I'm
Yeah,
Josh,
I'd say
with Bart
yes, yeah.
Mallow.
Yes, yes.
Good evening. My name is Joe Spagnolo. I'm a project manager with Saks Construction.
Yeah, Joe, if you want to give us a brief overview of the process we've been going through, that would be fantastic.
Yep. So over the last few months, we have been out for bid for public bids for the work at the athletic fields at the high school. So this would be upgrading the football fields, new softball and baseball field, new tennis courts, new practice fields, and then of course update to the concessions building, the ticketing building would be an add-on there, and then some storage building add-ons as well. So over the last few months, we have been procuring bids from contractors. A few weeks back, we had a public bid opening. We read the bids out loud, and we then put together this letter of recommendation you guys have in front of you with all of our lowest bidders that we have vetted, that they have all of the requirements and all of the scope captured. So that's what we wanted to present to you guys today, an overall estimate for that work for the athletic improvements. So.
And I want to say, like, this has been quite a process. I know Jack and Patrick have been involved at every single level, including coming to all the post bid interviews. And so they have been very active and very much in what we have selected here before you today.
Any questions from the board? Anything else you'd like to share, or are we?
At this time, nothing unless you guys have any questions. The numbers are right there in front of you with all the alternates. So,
I think we're great right now, looks
Right.
like anyway,
Right.
so thank you very much.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Now we are gonna have Frog Holler Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Grant. Is Jen Trombetta here? She here?
Yeah, it's all right.
Oh, is she online?
Yep.
Okay, we can open her up.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Okay.
I'm sorry, my dog just started barking. So I am asking you I'm requesting the Board of Education to approve a PO for Simon and Lehman, AKA Frog Holler, for $101,600. This is the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Grant, which runs from October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026. We don't have an exact amount of the grant dollars due to the late budget that MDE had due to the state not getting a budget through, but we know that it's over $124,000 for the year. This grant is reimbursable, which means we spend the money up front and we get reimbursed monthly. Any questions?
Is it, Jen, I'm looking at the spreadsheet. Is it, like Myers would get it, or is it just every school in the district?
Just the elementary schools.
Pardon me?
Just the elementary schools?
Oh, and then.
Okay, oh, I've turned the page and I see the rest of them. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. A&M Accounting, that would be Kim Nicholson. Short. Yeah, short,
I'm short,
yeah,
so
just what we
very,
need to know.
very short. There's three of us up there. That's
Yeah.
okay. I'm Kim Nicholson. I'm here to let you know that your healthcare committee, which has always done a great job, has come together and voted unanimously that they would like to move forward with a defined contribution. And that's where you get more involvement from the employees, and the goal is to save money and hopefully stop having these huge increases in premiums. So I know you all have the presentation, so at this point, I wanted to just open it up for questions.
Maybe better to explain, I don't know if everybody on the board understands what the defined contribution means and what that's gonna mean for our benefits. I mean, I do, Kathy does,
Okay.
you know.
A defined contribution plan says an employer gives so much money per employee. And the committee looks at that and says, what can we buy with it? So they took the current plan and current expenses. And again, because of large increases, the employees now are only going to have an option of 2,500, 5,000 HSA. And from everything I can see right now, next year they would be looking at a 3,500, 7,000. The defined contribution gives them the ability to come together, change, because people listen to their union leaders, okay? So they can have more impact on changing rates than management can.
It doesn't mean any more expense for the district, because the district's on hard cap. So this is something because the employees are the ones that are affected. Mostly the bargaining units are affected with insurance, that the healthcare committee came together and to move forward. I think it's an awesome program myself.
Absolutely, I'm in full favor, and I wanted to do it years ago. So thank you, Kim, thank you, John, thank you, Mr. Devlin.
What are you thanking Terry for?
I don't know, he's my friend, he worked, he got beat up over this by someone I know. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, let's move on to resolution for boiler, heating lines for roof at Holland, Platinum Mechanical. Jack.
Good evening, everyone. So a few weeks ago, we put out a RFP for a heating line on the roof at Holland. We had a roof replaced and we had to remove the heating line, and we noticed that some of the decking that was bad, so we had to replace the decking. We came back in to install the heating line, and we were recommended to just replace it because it was 55 years old. That could attribute to some of the heating issues we were having in that building. So we did put out a bid. We received 3 bids, one from Detroit Boiler Company for $62,138. We received one from Delta Temp Services for $155,185. And we received a bid from Platinum Mechanical for $39,408. And we recommend going with Platinum Mechanical.
For that big of a difference, I'm just asking out of curiosity, for that big of a difference in price, I mean, you get what you pay for? Or,
No, we actually had
we
actually had post bids. And he was very aggressive. He told me he was very aggressive in bidding because he would like to get a lot of the districts.
I was just curious.
Yeah, and I told him, we've got some, bond work going on, so, that's absolutely something he could bid on, but we were very impressed with him, their company.
To do with the remodeling that we've been dealing?
No, it's when we had the new roof put up, and it's 4-inch pipe encased and insulated, and underneath there, the decking had gone bad. So when we did the roof, we wanted to make sure that, the decking was replaced. And like I said, when we put it back together, we were going to weld it back together, and they said, you know what, you're probably better off just to get it replaced. Because we have had heating issues in, one of those built, Holland and many others, but that was one of ours. Yeah.
I was just curious on the bidding, just because when some people come to my house and I get bids, I wonder about that,
Yeah, no, and I mean, we got multiple, recommendations, work that they have done.
Yeah.
We did contact a few of his former clients, and yep, very pleased with their work.
Looking for your expert opinion.
Yep.
Any other questions for Jack?
Thank you.
Now we have the student reinstatement statements, Jason Gribble.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you.
You have in your packet two statements or two reinstatement summaries for student one and student two. As you can see at the bottom of each page, you can see the recommendation from the panel.
Any questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll move forward.
Thank you.
Okay, public comment, is there
We had
anyone
one.
wishing? Oh,
Yeah, the one we added on the revision.
oh, the revision, I'm sorry,
Smart
thank you.
boards from John Ross.
Yep, and it's sitting right in front of me too. That's awesome. Thank you.
Well, he couldn't have blamed me for that one.
I forget things from minute to minute, so.
All right, I'm requesting about $35,000 to replace smart boards. These are going to go into POHI and ASD rooms. These have already been previously approved by RISA, where the funding source comes from. The funding source is Act 18, and the primary funding source comes from a countywide education millage that's approved by taxpayers. And RISA is the approver. They're also in charge of the oversight and compliance of this. So we've already been approved on all of these products that we're going to put in from a technology standpoint. Just looking to make this purchase and get these upgrades in the classrooms as quickly as possible. Any questions?
Just one. Are these all gonna be like installed immediately into the classrooms, or are some of these gonna be like on hold until we need them? Like, what is the urgency right now?
The urgency is that the rest of the district was already on a path to upgrade to this new technology. And the POHI and ASD rooms, because they have separate funding, had to wait. And so we do want to do it immediately so we can catch them up with the rest of the district as well. But because of the way that the funding sources are offset with one another, we kind of plan a year before when it comes to Act 18 funding. And that's why theirs is delayed just a little bit, but it'll be immediate. So as soon as we get the PO, which is already in the system and waiting for approval, as soon as that gets over, we'll set up some installation times. And as soon as the equipment comes in, it'll get installed. We're only talking about 10 screens here. It's 10 classrooms. So it's a rather small install, which will just take a day or two.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Anything else? Thank you. Okay, now we'll move on to public comment. Is there anyone wishing to address the board with regard to items that have been on the agenda, discussion items? You can speak about anything pertaining to discussion items. Right now, anybody online? Okay, then we'll move forward.
Okay.
It's you.
Moving on to action items, athletic improvement contracts. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the athletics improvement contract awards outlined above in the amount of $7,717,682.57. Is there a motion?
Motion. Oh,
Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there support?
support.
Support by Mr. Westfall. Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Mardarski,
Yes.
Mr. Moore says a yes. Ms. Schufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall,
Yes.
Ms. Block, Ms. Fields.
Yes.
That carries 6-0. Frog Holler. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve.
No, I think I took that off just off the one you just gave us, didn't I? Oh, didn't I write 9 million?
Oh, did I say 7 million? Excuse me, that was supposed to be 9 million.
Yeah.
We will do a revote. Okay.
Yeah.
With the appropriate number of 9,717,000.
Budget already.
$682.57. Is there a motion? I'm gonna go through the action again. Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there support? Support by Mr. Westfall. Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Mardarski.
Yes.
Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Schufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Ms. Block, Ms. Fields. That carries 6-0. Thank you for the
Glad you
correction.
caught that because I'm like, I thought I wrote that on the sheet.
You know, you did.
All right.
I saw a lot of sevens. Okay, Frog Holler. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the purchase of a Frog Holler from Simon and Lehman Frog Holler Produce for the fresh fruit and vegetable grant for all elementaries for $101,000, $101,600 for the 25-26 school year. Is there a motion? Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Mr. Mordarski.
Yes.
Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Shufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Ms. Block. Ms. Fields.
Yes.
Ms. Moore.
Yes.
That carries 6-0. K&M Accounting LLC Defined Contribution Plan. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the Defined Contribution Plan administered by K&M Accounting LLC for 2025 costing $1,562,002.99 for the 2026 costing for 2026 costing $9,767,583.97 with the projected plan cost being $215,236.38. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Moore. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Fields. Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Shufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Ms. Block.
Yes.
Ms. Fields.
Yes.
Ms. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Mordarski.
Yes.
That carries 6-0. Resolution for boiler heating lines for roof at Holland. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the resolution for boiler heating lines for the roof at Holland Elementary with Platinum Mechanical in the amount of $39,408. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Mordarski. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Fields. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Ms. Block.
Yes.
Ms. Fields.
Yes.
Ms. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Mordarski.
Yes.
Mr. Morris is yes. Ms. Shufelt is excused. That carries 6-0. Assistant Superintendent position.
Yeah, this is, we talked about at the cow last
Okay.
week, so we're
Yep.
bringing it back to
Okay.
the actual
Yep.
action.
It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the consolidation of the two current assistant superintendent positions into one, effective upon the retirement of Jason Gribble on December 1st, 2025. Is there a motion? Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Westfall. Ms. Shufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Ms. Block.
Yes.
Ms. Fields.
Yes.
Ms. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Mordarski.
Yes.
Mr. Morris is a yes. That carries 6-0. Student reinstatement number 01-101-52025, policy number 5610.03. The review committee is recommending the Board of Education approve the conditional reinstatement of student number 01-101-52025. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Moore. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Fields. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Ms. Block.
Yes.
Ms. Fields.
Yes.
Ms. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Mordarski.
Yes.
Mr. Morris is a yes, and Ms. Shufelt is excused. That carries 6-0. Student reinstatement number 02-101-52025, policy 5610.03. The review committee is recommending the Board of Education approve the conditional reinstatement of student number 02-101-52025. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Moore. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Fields. Ms. Block.
Yes.
Ms. Fields.
Yes.
Ms. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Mordarski.
Yes.
Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Shufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
That carries 6-0. Let's see. Do I have language for the last?
I don't think we
Action
do,
item.
so it would be,
I can read that real quick if you need.
yeah, that's the amount. And
Okay.
it's gonna be for smart boards for our OHI and ASD and CrossCat classrooms.
Okay, Motion to approve John Ross's recommendation of 10 smart boards for the listed rooms at the cost of $34,480.68.
Motion.
Okay, motion by Ms. Fields. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Ms. Block? Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Mordarski?
Yes.
Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Shufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
That carries 6-0.
Okay, we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
All right, thank you, everybody. Want to give a few updates tonight about some of the things we've been reporting about in the superintendent's report the last few go-rounds. The first one I want to come to is we recently sent out the communication asking for applicants for the sex ed advisory board that we are putting together currently. And I want to thank everybody who submitted applications. We had 17 applicants overall who put in. 9 of those 17 did express interest in the co-chair positions. 2 of those were employees, 7 of those parents. By law, we have to have one that's going to be an employee co-chair, and we have one that is going to be a parent co-chair. So we are going to bring those forward to the board. All 9 of the people who did apply for that, we're going to bring their applications forward to the board at the committee of the whole meeting coming up in November, and we will do a ranking system, much like we filled a board vacancy, where we will rank the candidates and go through that process. But that will take place at the November meeting, the first November meeting. Of those 17, 82% of those applicants were not employees of the district, which falls in line with the law that requires that over 50% of the committee does have to be by parents who are not employed through the school district. So again, we will be in compliance with what we have. We also are missing 2 pieces that are required by law, so we are going to have to go seek people to fill those positions, because the law does require us to have a clergy member, and the law requires us to have a student on the panel. So we do have to go out and fill those 2 positions to make it fully compliant. I would make the recommendation, and this is something we're going to talk about when we get those co-chairs in place, but with that number of being 17 people, plus the 2 we have to go and recruit to be compliant, I would say that I would recommend that all are on the committee, and we have a committee of 19 members at this point. I think that's the prudent thing that we should do, and it would give voice to everybody who put that out there. But again, we'll talk about that more when we go through the co-chair process in November, if that makes sense to everybody. The second update I want to give is we did recently put out the surveys to the community regarding quasi-political symbols. Those windows closed. Again, I want to thank everybody who participated, everybody who took the time to fill out those surveys. And these are kind of the statistics and the things that I've gathered from the results. And we will be putting up on the website, we will put those results up for everybody to see as well. But this is kind of just a quick breakdown of what we had in place. So we had 246 parents who participated in the survey. 174 rated that they felt classrooms should be neutral spaces as a 5 on a scale of 1 to 5, and 5 was of great importance. So very clear feedback that neutrality is where people felt that we should be in those classroom spaces. 53% of the respondents did say that they didn't want to see any kind of flag symbols of any kind for any reason in classrooms. Another 29% said that they wanted to see only if it met some clear guidelines. When we went to the staff survey, we had 95 participants. 44, again, a pretty high number, rated neutrality as a 5. So it was very clear amongst staff as well that the thought process was the same as what the parents were at. They had, on the question of what should be allowed, they had it at 28%, none at all. And 55% was, again, with clear guidelines of what is acceptable, what's not. From the secondary students that we surveyed, we had 76 participants. And of course, we're talking about students, so I think their lens is always a little different than what we see from the other groups. This is the one where we did see a little bit of a difference, but they rated basically 24 of those 76 rated the importance of neutrality in a classroom at a 3. So right kind of dead in the center. And then there was 20 or so who also said who had it as a 5. So most of the feedback was either they were really neutral about it or they felt strongly that, again, neutrality should be there. And again, this came back at 52% of secondary students even said in place with clear guidelines. So I think we pretty much have kind of what we see, what's the will of the community at this point. So at this point, we are going to go back to the policy committee. We're going to start the work of working off of Neola's policy. And I did present this at the last policy committee that essentially Neola has a policy already written for this, and it does say that things would remain neutral, but they give options. And that's the part that the work of the policy committee can be, because if we're hearing feedback that says they're okay with things that have clear guidelines, well, the Neola policy has clear guidelines. And that's the part we'll start working forward, and then we'll bring a final draft forward for readings with the Board of Education for approval. But the things that are in that policy that they would consider is, like, obviously allowing the Michigan flag would be something that would be allowed. The current school flag. Some of the other options that Neola puts out there is if it's a display that is used as part of a unit of study or as part of the approved curriculum, they put out an option that says displays that denote recognitions of student achievement. They put out one that says putting up different Michigan High School Athletic Association flags and symbolism from that, displays from colleges or universities, flags from other countries that would represent our foreign exchange students. And one of the other ones is displays representing student organizations and clubs. And this is all kind of in line with what we've put in place temporarily while we start to build this policy. So this is what we're going to start working as our template and move forward. The last thing I want to talk about tonight, one, I'm very thankful we finally have a state budget that's been approved and has finally gone through the process. And I know you've heard me rail on about that all summer long, and every week it was contact your legislators, contact your legislators. I want to say that there are some things I'm very thankful that the legislature put into this budget. We're still analyzing, we're still looking at all the different things that are in there, but there's a couple that jumped out to me right away that really speak to our needs in Taylor, and I wanted to kind of talk about them tonight in this report. And these involve infrastructure. I know at a previous meeting I had mentioned that infrastructure is a great need. I know Barton Mallow has come and presented and said about how vast our needs are when it comes to infrastructure in our district. So I was really excited that one of the grants they have is in there is under 11X, and it's a competitive grant for infrastructure needs. And they're going to give priority to districts who have roof and HVAC needs. They will be at the front of the line for that competitive grant. So this has me excited because I know in our strategic plan, we're talking about more roofs that have to be done. I know we're currently working on Taylor High's HVAC program, and we have other buildings that could use boiler upgrades. I know I could get Jack up here and he could probably go on quite extensively about what those needs are, but we have lots of needs we can address and hopefully get that competitive money. Another one is the 12E Emergency Infrastructure Grant. Again, this is a competitive grant as well. As we start to see how you can get that money and what they're going to look at for your qualifications, I believe we have some needs that could fall under this as well. Like particularly when we're talking about Taylor High's heating and cooling, and we're already got that moving and we've already started that work, I would consider that something that might be able to fall under that because we desperately need that fixed and we need that to be a priority. So for these, we would be working with our Director of State and Federal Programs, Stacy Vesprimi. I have already met with her and Jack and Patrick, because really it's the three of them are going to have to work together and put those together and get those out there. So, and the last one is something very specific to the Taylor School District. So in the state budget, there is $4 million for Taylor schools to use for infrastructure purposes, and this is only us. This started 2 years ago. I had gone to the legislature and I had talked with many of our legislators about the fact that we were coming short on the money to build a new high school through the bond process. And said, hey, is there any way we can work something in? Is there something that can help us get to that finish line? So in the 24-25 state aid budget, they granted us $4 million towards a new high school. $4 million wasn't going to close the gap and get us to be able to build. And so at that point, there wasn't much we could do with the money that they had awarded because it specifically said new high school. So I spent time over the last year going back to the legislators, going back and talking to them and saying, is there a way we can repurpose this? Because we have needs, like there are things we can use this for that are going to help make our schools better for our kids, better learning environments for our kids. And I was really excited to see that they had repurposed it in this state aid budget. And now it does state that it is for our infrastructure needs. And so, like I said, I know Barton Mallow presented, they went over those needs. This $4 million is stuff that we can put towards that, and we can start moving the bar forward on providing better facilities for our community, for our students. So again, we know we're going to explore all these opportunities. We know we have lots of needs, and I'm just excited that there are things on the table for us to take advantage of. And I think we're in a prime position that our needs are going to speak for themselves, and we're going to be able to get those. So really wanted to put that out there for everybody to be aware of. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mike? None? Thank you.
Moving on to consent agenda policy numbers 0166.1, 6470, 8640, and 2304, which includes the minutes from the regular board meeting of September 17, 2025, consolidated items, payments of current bills, certified, non-certified administrative reports, out-of-state overnight field trips, and out-of-state overnight grant-funded conferences. Is there a motion? Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there support?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mordarski. Okay, Ms. Fields? Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Mordarski?
Yes.
Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Schufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall? Ms. Block? That carries 6-0. Items scheduled for next agenda, Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. Good news and student representatives.
Thank you. Do we have now is general public comment? Anyone wishing to address the board with regard to anything? Please, we'll do people here first. I have a little speech I need to read to you, so
Okay.
come on up and hold tight. Welcome everyone to the Taylor School District regularly scheduled board meeting of October 15th, 2025, where our mission statement is to educate with purpose, engage with passion, empower the future, and our vision statement is that we will create a welcoming and innovative learning environment that nurtures the whole child, empowering every student to thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. Thank you to all who came to be with us tonight. We understand the importance of continuing to keep you informed and providing an opportunity for you to be heard. Public comment will begin with those in person and then move to our online audience. For those in person, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. After the in-person comment, our online audience will need to find the raise hand symbol for our moderator to recognize and unmute you. Please take into consideration common courtesy. Refrain from any personal attacks and keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. We'll provide you and assist with timekeeping, so each guest will be able to monitor their own time and know when to conclude, so all who wish to speak will have an equal opportunity to do so. As a reminder, if any questions arise during this meeting or through other avenues, Superintendent Wager or his designee will work to provide answers in a timely manner. Please note that the views and opinions expressed by individual board members are their own and do not necessarily represent the official position or consensus of the Board of Education. Thank you. And you may.
Let me
I'm
just
certain
add
I
one-
missed
Do you
out.
mind if I just add one thing on there? just so everybody's aware,
Yep.
like, what I'm gonna try to do now, so I'm not eating into your 3 minutes, like, if there are particular questions that I can answer on the spot, I'm gonna wait till you say everything you have out there, and then I'll try to answer what I can, and there may be things I can't, but I just wanna make sure, let you know, that's
All right.
how we're gonna work it.
My name's Thomas Stubbe, address 25487 Statler Street, Taylor, Michigan. This is Paul Arquette. I'm not sure of his address, if I'm being honest with you, but I know he's in Taylor. We also have April Buck and Terrence Bevins. We're all from Taylor Junior Football. I'm sure you guys see us over there on the field. We're just kind of trying to look for an avenue, you know, since I've been here, at least, we've had our games there, we practice over there. You know, we're finally on the right track to financially make improvements. We're just trying to find the avenue to I guess, get permission, you know, and some sort of guarantee that we're gonna be able to use that field in the future. You know, Paul, you know, he takes care of the grounds on the weekends because that's part of what we've always done. We're trying to pride ourselves in being Taylor. If you look over, the field looks pretty good for being a grass field, but we want to make it even better. There's, you know, like the concession stand, April wants to paint. We're just looking to make improvements, but we also want some sort of, I don't want to say guarantee, but some sort of agreement saying, hey, you guys will be here for, you know, at least 5 years, you know, and that way we don't spend our money on something and then it's gone. And we're right here, we're right behind
Okay.
you know, we practice on the fields outside, we play our home games.
Oh, okay.
I'm here on every Saturday.
Yeah,
And what's the age group?
So we go from, we have mascots cheer, so those can go from 3 to 13 is cheer, and then football goes from 7 to 13,
Thank you.
you know.
Mr. Gribble, I thought this was handled.
Well, we spoke with Mr. Gribble about it, but we just wanted to talk with you guys and see if there was some kind of arrangement we can work out, like, so we know long-term that we'll be able to use the field.
I don't know that, and I'm just speaking
Yeah,
for
I was
myself.
there in a second, but yeah, go ahead.
We got the okay to paint.
That we can lock in a 5-year type of thing, because we don't know what's gonna happen with the land.
Correct. That's what I was gonna answer. We're more than happy to keep working with you and cooperating and doing those pieces, but it is that part where we just don't know what the future entirely holds for this piece of property as of right now. And that's where locking in it's difficult to say. I guess if we did, it would have to be with some certain very ironclad items that said, in the event of this or this scenario, we would have the right to back out of it, but that we'd have to discuss what that looks like. But
Yeah, I mean,
that's the biggest piece.
and I guess what we're just trying to do is, you know, bring more attention to us
Yeah,
in the sense of
absolutely.
we are trying to make it better. We're, you know, we're not looking just for a field to use, but
Yeah.
we're looking to make it, you know, obviously, I think they said there's going to be track, there's going to be soccer,
Yeah.
and we want to help, you know, improve that so that Taylor as a whole, you know, it benefits from it, not just the Taylor Seahawks.
Yeah. And that was the other thing I was gonna say is, yeah, come spring, we are definitely gonna have to use it while the work is going that we just approved for the
Right, well,
athletic field.
We
So,
will need it,
yes.
late summer, early fall is time we're gonna need it.
Yeah,
So early spring's not an issue. We'll even.
right, absolutely.
We'll even run a concession stand for you if you guys want, while you got track and soccer going
Yeah.
over there, that, you know.
Yeah, and we just know, you know, I mean, we've talked with Mr. Gribble, he's great. We walked around, we kind of showed him, you know, what we do, what we use. And I mean, I guess we're just looking, like you said, I get, you know,
Yeah.
you don't know what's going to happen with the land, but we're just trying to cover our bases so that we can try to secure something.
And I guess that's my easiest thing is like, we're open to it, but we would have to just discuss what that looks like in the event
That
that
way we
something
know
would
that
change.
this is home, you know what I
Yep.
mean?
Could
Yep.
we enter into a year to year with
Well,
that?
we kind of do that now, but we gotta
Right.
wait till, you know, like, I'd say early summer to, you know, discuss, you know, permit dates and stuff like that, to where now if we get something with you guys, we know automatically that once our football season starts, we can just go to the field.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's more of a security type thing.
Right.
Yeah, if they bring us something, I certainly will,
Yep.
we'll look at it. The only concern I would have is what if we sell the land? But yeah, absolutely use it.
But we can talk about
Yeah.
that. Like, I'm open to it. So we'll get in touch and we'll make sure we
Okay.
start figuring something.
So just my request though, for the folks at home listening, because I know you explained it, but can you explain a little bit in more detail for people who aren't that familiar, exactly where the land is you practice on and play on?
So I mean, I guess it would be what the Taylor Kennedy Old High School. football field
Yeah.
and the surrounding area of the football field.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, but the way it was said, I think people were a little confused.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm very-
yeah, I know, right?
Public speaking isn't my thing.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that.
I mean, I guess that's just kind of what we're looking for. We wanted to bring attention, and if there's anything, if we're ever able to even say, hey, we're gonna be, just a couple things that we are trying to improve is like the stand, what do they call it? The grandstand, the windows don't move up easy.
Yep.
We've looked at getting them, redone, but they're a couple $1,000s, and
Yeah.
we want to do it for everybody, but we just don't want, I guess it's, one of those things.
Do it, be gone the following year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
I
it-
understand completely. Yeah, if they bring something for us, I think the board appears to me
Yeah.
that they're open to, certainly.
Mike, you're gonna work on it?
Yeah, I think we can do it. I think the biggest thing is just making sure whatever we did has contract
Right.
language that would give us that. extra
Well, I mean,
flexibility.
if you think about it,
Yeah.
nothing's gonna happen within the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
5 is pushing it, but 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even that is, then we have something of,
Right.
we just, what we were worried, I mean, when I first got here, we won our championship on the field, and we were told actually it was gone. That was the last
Yeah.
time. So now every year we're kind of getting towards the end of our season. We're like, okay, well,
Yeah,
are we
what's going
gonna,
on?
and we're just, like I said, want to make it look better. I mean, if you guys,
Take care of your own field too, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
yep, Mr. Arquette here, he's mowing every Sunday, the surrounding areas and everything.
It's my house. Thank you.
Don't ask him because he will. But
So
yeah,
I know by Pat Park, you guys used to have your logo up. Well, what do you do at Pat Park then?
So we do have our building at Pat Park. We don't our building where we hold our equipment and then we
Okay.
host our meetings,
Gotcha.
but like those grounds couldn't be practiced on. That's a swamp most of the time.
I was wondering how you played football there. I was always
Yeah,
curious.
no, we're
Okay.
right here.
You don't? Okay, right.
Yeah.
Keep all of our equipment and stuff like that, but we don't practice or play there.
Now, at that age, for those, students, for those players, are they more, this is technical, but is it more man-to-man or do they play some zone defense?
I mean, I'm man to man personally, but our freshman, I think, does run a little zone, but
They do some zone. huh?
yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of everything. It's,
Okay,
I,
curious about
our
that.
next home game next Saturday night, come out and watch. I think, we're creating a good atmosphere around here, and hopefully it carries on to the high school, and there's a couple of my players out there now that, so, we're just looking to make this place better and making it look something to be proud of.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you being here. Anyone else wishing to address the board? Come on up. Wait, come on up. Absolutely.
April Buck. I live at 22415 Champaign here in Taylor, as they said. Basically, we just want someplace for the boys to call home, the girls to call home. They are made to be proud of where they are. They help clean, they help take care of the grounds. They deserve it. And these are kids that are gonna go on to play in high school. They're gonna go on, we just want them to have a home. And we've been here, my grandson started the year with Tommy. They took the championship, the Peanut Bowl. He ages out this year, but I have other grandkids that are still in it. We just want to be able to keep it going, and we would like to fix the things that, when these people are coming to watch this team that we have built and has become pretty good, the team to beat, people, we want them to be impressed with the field, the concession stand, we don't want other teams to see us fighting and somebody lose a finger trying to open the press box, steel curtains. So, we just basically just want some kind of guarantee before we go spending all that money to improve things.
Absolutely. I understand completely.
And you said that if we bring it to you, you can think up you can discuss a contract or whatever. We have tried to bring it to you for about 2 months now. And,
First I'm hearing of it.
I know
No, no,
that
it's
that's
come,
been,
it's come to our level, yes.
yes.
But the
Mr.
big thing,
Gribble
the big
did
question has
cover-
been the long-term sustainability is where we have to.
Right,
concern.
right. But,
We'd have to just iron that out, and I think we'd be good.
and so how do we go about doing that then?
Well, that's where I need to consult and start looking at some language that we can use
Thank
and
you.
put in there.
I
don't
would
mind doing
appreciate
at all.
that
Yep.
greatly.
Yeah,
All
I think
right.
everybody, I don't see anybody saying, no, we don't want you using the
Right,
property.
right.
They're saying,
I
don't
just
know what
wanted to
we're gonna
make
do with
sure
it.
of how we went about doing it because
Yeah.
it keeps kind of,
Yeah, there's been no discussion about selling the
Right,
property at this
right.
point that I remember or are aware of, so thank you.
thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, next.
I feel like I'm pretty well known at this point. Hi, Patrick again. Robotics team, I was looking for maybe an update.
Yeah, I can say we are currently putting out a survey. I'm not sure if it went out yet to assess how many students are interested.
Okay.
Once we have that piece, then we'll know where we're kind of at in what we need to do from there. But the biggest thing was we kind of put some ideas together, but we were like, we need to see and make sure we have enough people to fill a team before we're going to commit to
Gotcha.
any of those kind of things. So
So-
Mr. Gribble, I know that we just approved that and it should have been going out pretty recently if it's not out already, correct?
Yes, it was supposed to go out. We were just waiting for Ms. Barnard to get access to the high school's parents' wear.
There we go.
To get those connections so we can get that survey out.
Cool. So guess the next question is, what is your guys' number that you guys are shooting for here?
So when we consulted and when we've talked to First Robotics, 10 is where we need to be, is at least 10 people out there, because that seemed to be the common thing we were finding in our conversations that we've had with the First Robotics organization.
Okay.
Yep.
As you know, we've already got some, but they're very quickly looking at other robotics teams in the surrounding school districts. It's October 15th today.
Yep.
Which means in a little over 2.5 months is when the season starts.
Yep.
And we all know how quickly November and December just kind of fly by.
Yep.
So
yeah, we have that in our mind.
Gotcha.
Definitely, yeah.
So if you guys are planning or hoping to have a team to compete this upcoming season,
yeah,
the time is kind of the essence.
Yep.
In addition to that, just kind of wanted to express some things real quick about it. It's you guys obviously seem to like you guys are moving the ball, so thank you for doing that. We just, I was talking with Mr. Porter today, who has been in some type of contact with you, I believe.
Yeah, him and I have contacted,
Mike
talked,
Porter?
yes,
Yeah.
on a few different occasions, yeah.
And me and him were just, we want to make sure that the team has an opportunity to exist without the baggage of the previous leadership. Like I said before, the program was immensely impactful to me, even under the erroneous leadership that, from before. So I want to make sure that it's around for the kids, that are coming up. If there's do you have Gail Apharts? She's the president of FIM, First in Michigan.
I believe so. I was like, when you said the name Gail, and I'm like, I know that's come up. I know we've had that. So yes, we do have that.
Mike reached out
contact.
to her.
Yeah.
She's intending to reach out to you soon if she hasn't already. I can
Okay.
also give you her.
I think Mr. Gribble has talked with her before, so.
Yeah, he said that she was reaching out soon, like if she hasn't already done it recently. Sick. Yeah, okay, that's about it.
All right, thank you.
If you can just let me or Mr. Porter know.
Yeah, as we go along, but like I said, the first thing is we're getting that interest survey
Gotcha.
completed, and then we'll go from there.
Two other quick things for you about it. It's money and room.
Mhm.
We understand that you guys needed to repurpose some of the space that we've had previously at the Career Center. My apologies. It's changed name since I was in the school district. So, and so I know that Mr. Gribble has ambitions to put us in here. I also know that it's full of a lot of stuff. So I wasn't sure if that was still.
No, there's still lots of things up in the air. So yeah, I
Yeah.
can't say that for sure.
The other thing that me and Mr. Porter were talking about, and please keep in mind that this is soft numbers. The registration fee for first is $6,000. And at the moment, since we haven't been doing anything, we have no sponsorships anymore. So that might come from some of the, mentors. And some of it might have to fall on you guys. I don't know if that's something that you guys are open to.
Here's my concern.
Yes, ma'am.
True, I've always supported robotics since the day they started 30 some odd years ago. However, I've always thought that I believe it should not be an after-school program. It should be part of our curriculum.
Yes, ma'am.
That would be my goal. Got it?
I would love for that to happen as well. It's something that I think would have been a great idea. The problem in past years, especially when I was in the school district, was the fact that we had two different high schools and we didn't have enough kids between the two different high schools to have two different teams. So they would have to have been at the Career Center. And at that point in time, while we had the room there, the problem was that they're just, I believe that there had been an initiative in years past to try and make it a class, daytime class thing. It had just never worked out. There were some other issues with that. Not fully aware of it because I was a student. It was never pushed.
Now.
Gotcha.
Oh, thank you. And I believe I read somewhere recently that there is some investigation by our cabinet into
Making it a class.
making it a class.
Yeah,
So
we'd love to have that happen.
appreciate your passion and
Yeah.
all of that. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're caring for the kids. Thanks. Anyone else in person wishing to address the board?
Courtney Prout, 9846 Catherine. I just had a quick question. I got your email Sunday. I always look at those emails and it came up with the chronic absenteeism in the 1 to 2 days. And then 2 to 3 a month for chronic absenteeism. And I get that. I'm a K-12 data analyst. That's what I do all the time is track kids, track numbers. My question is though, the times I keep my child home, I know how important attendance is because there are subs. And the last couple times there isn't a sub. So our kids are split. I know that's something that you guys can control. But my question is when I called my daughter in, they don't write that as an excused absence because there's no excusal for that. Like she doesn't have a doctor's note. I'm keeping her home simply because I don't think that her being in a school where she's split in another classroom or her whole class goes to another classroom. As an educator, I know that that's just the day where you have 40 kids in your room and you're trying your best just to control the students in the room. So that's me as a data analyst who works from home. I can just stop what I'm doing for that day and help my child at home. And she's going to get way more learning than she would if I threw her into a classroom with 40 other kids that day. So I guess I'm just concerned is if that's being written as a non-excused absence, she then is going to be targeted as a student with chronic absenteeism because she's going to be missing more than, 2 to 3 days a month if that's how many times her teacher is out. And teachers are given those days, right? So they're going to use those PTO days or those mental health days, which they should use, right? But how does that affect my student if there isn't a sub? So it's like my long-term question. Like I'm just, now that I got that email and I kind of looked at that, like that put into perspective a lot to me. Like my daughter is going to be missed. If there are subs in that room and she's being split, I am not sending her to school.
Yeah.
So I don't know how, and I know there's multiple other parents that are in the same boat as I am because we can do more at home with our students than they can if they're in a class of 40 students.
Yeah, that's going to require me to take a little deeper look. I don't have that right off the top of my head, but I can gladly take a look and get you an answer. That's
Yeah, and that's fine. And then I just wanted to also mention, like piggybacking off of the robotics and stuff, like at Kenyon, for example, at my daughter's school, like she's bringing home things from her STEAM class that are not, STEAM related things. I mean, yeah, they're coloring sheets or like things that they're doing on the computers, but there's lots of opportunity there to put in some, we have those Osmos. I know they were all purchased when I was teaching in the district. There were Osmos in there, lots of coding things, lots of, things that we could be putting into our STEAM classes to get those kids prepared and ready. So back to like Kathy's remarks of these should be things that are implementing in our schools. I think that we need to look at the elementary schools as well and implement those STEAM things in those STEAM classes because it's not happening right now.
Yeah, and we've talked about this too, like when I've had the conversations with Mr. Porter and some First Michigan and Miss Bernard, we've talked about the Lego robotics program as well, because that ultimately building that at the elementary helps build that up to having a program at the high school, a robust program at the high school.
Yeah,
too. So, yeah, we've been talking about that.
I don't know what they're called, but when I was in the district, they bought a bunch of those blue and orange little robot things and like they gave them to classroom teachers to try to like start implementing and using. And I haven't seen them since I left the district. And I know that we purchased a ton of them for a lot of the classrooms. So I don't know where those little robot things went, but those are very awesome. So things that I don't see happening, and we
Yeah.
do have the stuff in the rooms to use it. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Anyone else in person? Hey, online, go ahead. Christina, you're on.
Hi, I'm Christina Schaff, and I live at 7937 Ziegler in Taylor. My son is Joshua Wellington and goes to Blair Moody, or went to Blair Moody. I removed him last week, Monday. I wanted to bring awareness to the board about the fact that there are still teachers that are taking away recess from students. He's in the 2nd grade, and his teacher was taking away his recess. And I talked to the teacher and the principal after several days of not getting through with the teacher. I talked to the principal, and all she really said was that she's sorry, and that she has a few teachers that are old school, and they still have a problem with going by, I guess it's a district policy to not take away recess. And I did find information before going to remove him about the American Academy of Pediatrics is very firm on not taking away recess. It's very important for them to have their recess. And that's all I wanted to say is I hope that I can be the voice for these students who are getting their recess taken away.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Bethany, you're up.
Hi, Bethany Pavey, 6036 Mayfair Street. My daughters attend Kenyon Elementary School, and last month, on the 25th, they had a lockdown drill, and then right after they had a second incident with the boot, and that wasn't handled well, from several perspectives, teachers and students. My concern is that my daughter and other students that I've talked to and their parents doesn't know how to work the boot. I reached out to the principal, who told me that she would reach out to the police department to see if they could have the boot like disengaged, so each child could have the opportunity to place the boot so they know what to do in an emergency situation. And I guess she was told no, that was not going to happen. And then nothing after that. So it's been almost a month. So my question is, what are we going to do to get these kids prepared for a serious situation?
So I will say, because this came up as a concern at the last board meeting, I know I've met with our director of security, and we've been talking about ways that we need to reemphasize some training pieces. And those are things we are currently working on to make sure that we're able to provide opportunities and make sure that everybody is following the correct process and procedure and remaining safe. But that's something we're still working on currently.
Behind the scenes. Okay, that's good to know, because there was not, after being told the suggestion of turning off the boot, I was actually never told by the principal herself that she was told no about that. But then there was just nothing ever, no correspondence after that. So that's why I wanted to clarify. I do want to make sure that something's being done for the safety of everybody, of course.
We've been talking about, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, one more.
Hello, good evening. This is Shannon Seco. Thank you, board members, for allowing me to talk. I wanted to mention regarding the MyFi surveys, the presentation for our Hope Empowerment Coalition. Thank you for bringing this up. There's been a lot of discussion about MyFi surveys within the last few years. If you're going to choose to participate in this program, it's the Michigan Profile for Healthy Youth. I didn't know if you mentioned this in the presentation, but the parents need to understand that this survey is completely voluntary, And in the past, they found that some questions were intrusive questions and some inappropriate. So just wanted to make sure that the parents are going to be notified and they can view the survey before it's given to the students. I also wanted to mention a couple resources. Mental health is a crisis. It's one of the, I'm a nurse, by the way. And for a mom that's had dealt with mental health problems in their children, you know, mental health can be life-saving when it's properly applied to severe needs. I had a psychiatrist do a presentation back in May with a group of parents about how devices affect the brains of kids and teens. And it was very powerful how technology now is affecting our teens with their social, emotional, and family growth. If you could write this down, I have a resource called Screen Strong. There's a lot of resources in there. Just one of the callers mentioned about recess, just simple things we can do with our children to find the root cause of the mental health. We're seeing this increased anxiety and depression in our children, and it's just so alarming. And this just goes to my heart because, you know, I've dealt with this personally. And Health Strong is a really good resource. And I also have some resources for parent coaching and also children where you can do workshops here, just doing that work to decrease the screen time. Anxiety, depression, the kids are addicted. You know, they're addicted to that. I have lots of resources I'd like to share. I'll just go ahead and email you guys the stuff. But it's a very passionate, and I feel like if we can get to the root cause and us parents work together with the school and, you know, work on this together, that would be great. Yeah, the risk of suicide have went up because of teens are just on their phones, on their electronic devices, and there's a lot of cyberbullying. I'm sure you guys see all of it. It's all over downriver. We've had a few incidents. That's why I did my presentation, because we had some parents there and to tell their story. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Thanks for bringing this up. And again, thanks for your time.
Thank you. Okay, if that is it, we'll move on to board member comments. I just had a couple of things I wanted to mention. Kenyon is having a Halloween steam and family night. They're looking for cars and a trunk or treat. And so they're, in addition to the stuff that's going on inside the building, they're looking for people to register their cars for trunk or treat. So if there's any board member that would want to do that, that's on the 28th from 5 to 7. There was I don't know how you register. There was a little QR code, but I don't have that. So anyway, I may put a card together. We'll see. The Wall of Fame, the Taylor Foundation for Educational Excellence is looking for nominations for the Wall of Fame. And you can reach that site by via our website. And then Wayne County RISA Association of School Boards is meeting tomorrow, 10/16, 5:45 to 8 at RISA. And so if anybody is interested in attending that, I think that's all I have. Anyone else?
Yes, I'd like to thank Mike for never giving up on beating the legislature for some money.
Yes, I've been doing it for 2 years on that particular piece and just the budget in general. Yes, it's been a lot.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Dogged me for that, so thank
Yes.
you very much.
And I just wanted to say that I'm a big supporter of youth football. I'm glad you guys are here. And I definitely want to work something out. And as far as selling school district land, this is just a policy that I've always been very passionate about. I don't want to sell any school district land. I really don't. The land was either for education / athletics, okay? And maybe if you have a piece of land that can't be used for either, plant some trees, turn it into green space, something like that. We have enough vacant businesses. We're not going to do retail development on it. We don't need more junk condos or junk housing complexes. You know what I mean? So yeah, well, let's not sell school district land. Not at all. I'm a hard no on that. I'm only one person. I understand that, but we're not selling school district land. So let's work something out with y'all. That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, ahead of myself here. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Morris. Is there support?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Mordarski. Moore is a yes. Mordarski?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Sheffield is excused. Westfall?
Yes.
Block?
Yes.
And Fields. That passes 6-0. We are adjourned at 7:30. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.